Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nicktalksurvivor. My name is Nick, and today I will be discussing Survivor 47, episodes 1 through 4. This is my very first video on this channel. I recently had this idea to start a podcast because I've been a fan for about 5 years now. My very first season watching was season 39, unfortunately, and I've pretty much been a super fan ever since. My dad got me into this show, and he's been watching since season 1, and so he's been a huge fan since before I was born, and I turned 13 and he was like, all right, it's time that I have someone to watch this show with. And so I've been a huge super fan for the past over 5 years now, and I think I have good ideas about this show and the episodes. And now that I'm out at college, I don't have anyone to discuss this show with, and so I was like, why don't I just start a YouTube channel and see how it goes, because I love Survivor and I'm loving this season, and I just want to jump right into it. So I will just give a quick recap and some of my thoughts on episodes 1 through 4 from this season, because I had this idea after episode 4. Since then, episode 5 has come out, but I want to use this as kind of my trial run, and then I'll do shorter, maybe 10-15 minute recaps of each episode every week. So let's jump into it. Episode 1. Okay, my immediate thought coming out of this episode was that Andy was another Banu. I did not like Banu. Andy, he had a mental breakdown. I was like, what are we doing? Putting these kind of people on the show. I was very upset that Andy acted that way. I thought, I knew he's been a big fan of Rob Has a Podcast. He knew Asia. He recognized her pregame. He knows her birthday. They have the same birthday. He knows her dog's name. Everything. This guy should be amazing. I listened to his pregame interview. I thought, wow, this guy knows something about the show. He goes out there and he just loses the first challenge and just breaks down. I was like, dude, what are you doing? And then they decided to keep him. I was like, this really is Banu all over again. I find it so interesting that we have sometimes these weaker players that get kept around. And I know it's frustrating as a viewer, but as a player, those kinds of people are loyal. And so you want to keep them around. I think that's a really interesting complex we've seen in the new era, keeping Banu around for as long as he was around. Andy, they kept him in because I guess they thought he was a better option than John. I guess I don't know too much about John's vote out. I think they just didn't trust him, I guess. Didn't think he was great in challenges. I know a lot of people are big fans of his podcast, and I didn't know him too well, so I didn't have any big feelings about John. My other immediate thoughts was that Rome, off the bat, looking for idols, I thought he was playing way too hard. If I were to play, I think a lot of this podcast will be about how I would play if I were on the show, which I would love to one day. I think Rome, it's a bad decision to play that hard right off the bat. The new era, you have to lay low. Rome put a target on his back immediately. Same thing with Gabe. I mean, it's smart to have an advantage. That's fine. But really, day one, it's just so risky. It's so risky. I don't know. I thought this was a decent, actually pretty good premiere episode. Had the Andy being weird and kind of creepy situation not have happened, I would have honestly put this as the best premiere of the new era. But I don't know. I'd have to look back at the other episodes and see. All right, to episode 2. This is where the Blue Tribe goes to Tribal. My immediate thought coming out of this episode was that Gabe played this amazingly. Gabe got his target out. There was a potential split vote. I know that didn't happen. And honestly, it was this episode that made me want to start this podcast, because I thought Gabe played amazingly. I think the idol play was great, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But a lot of podcasters I watch didn't seem to connect the dots on why he played his idol. But again, I'll get to that in a second. I thought TK, I mean, he's just a big personality, very big, masculine guy. He can't hide his energy. I think, again, he's the kind of player he had, like, if you want to do well in this game, you have to tone down certain parts of your personality. And TK just didn't do that. He rubbed people the wrong way. He said some wrong things at the wrong times, like that rubbed Tiana the wrong way, that really got him voted out. I didn't really love or hate TK either way. I mean, I thought he was a little rude at times, but that's just my perception. That's how the TV show portrayed him. And I think Tiana, I really don't know if voting TK out was the best move for her. I know, I do understand it. He was rubbing people the wrong way, but I think if Tiana makes it to the merge with TK and Kyle, those are two guys that are potentially going out before her. And I feel like that would have been a good thing for her. Now, I don't know where she goes with this because one of a potential close ally, a potential shield, is out. She doesn't realize that she's on the bottom of the other alliance. Sue, Caroline, and Gabe are much tighter than they are with Tiana. I thought this was a very emotional vote from her, which makes sense. I mean, he was kind of making fun of her for smiling, but I don't know. It wasn't the worst move, not game ending from Tiana. I definitely don't think that. I think Gabe played this very well, manipulated Tiana very well, and this is where I'll talk about his idol play. There was a potential split vote that could have happened, a potential 3-3. Gabe played his idol, even though he could have played it up to three times or 3 tribals. He did play it at this first one because everybody knew about it. And this is an aspect that a lot of podcasters have not been talking about. A lot of his tribe knew about his idol. And Stephen Fishback has said this for the past few seasons. If you have an idol that everyone knows about, you might as well just play it. It only puts a target on your back. This is the first tribal. Anything could happen. You play it. It's out of your pocket. Everyone knows you don't have the idol now. And then next time you can find it again, and this time you don't tell anyone, which I don't know why people keep telling people about their idols, but whatever. I thought Gabe played this extremely well. He definitely got my vote for best player of the episode. I immediately texted my dad. I was like, Gabe is a genius. He worked both sides. He played his idol in case there was a split vote. He's not going home. He played it because people knew he had it. I thought it was a great play. I thought it was a really great play. And again, there might have been some influence from season 46 to play it. We saw, 6 people get voted out with idols in their pockets. Gabe didn't want to be one of those people. I don't hate it. Episode 3. This was a decent episode, I would say. I know Asia is big in the community. I know a lot of people were heartbroken to see her go. Mainly Chappelle from Marma Has a Podcast. I know people hated Asia going out, but honestly, for that red tribe, I think it was the right move, and I think Asia was stuck. I don't think there was anything she could have done to prevent that, to be honest. Because, I mean, it was just really difficult from her position. She had Keyshawn and Teeny going up to her saying, like, would you vote out Saul? Would you vote out Saul? She thought it was kind of a trust test. Like, I don't know. Either way, I think Asia ended up going home, no matter how she answered that conversation. She could have jumped on board to vote out Saul, but then where does that leave her? That leaves her at the bottom of a alliance, and it leaves her with, like, she jumped against her closest ally, which I don't think she would have wanted to do. So I think she had no choice. And honestly, Teeny and Keyshawn were really running things that episode. Rome, again, had the idol, so there was no plan against him. I know he's playing hard. He got the idol. He's up to this point, he's still playing hard and confident, but the thing is, he can do that because he has all this hardware to back him up. I mean, for Asia, I know it was really unfortunate. I mean, it's like she was the big blind in poker, and She was already in the game. She was dealt the 7 deuce, worst hand in poker, and she had to play it no matter what. Which it was really sad to see her go, but I don't know. She was gonna be a really good player. She was a very social player. If she makes it to the merge, I think she goes far. Final boss, top 5 in my opinion. So I think it was the right move. I know she wasn't as flexible as she could have been, but I think she was stuck. All right, on to episode 4. I loved this episode. I thought it was extremely entertaining, arguably one of the best episodes from the new era. Red Tribe, Lava, goes back to Tribal. This is where I thought they were going to turn into the Disaster Tribe. I was like, things are really tanking for this tribe. So, where am I on my thoughts? I'm looking at my notes really quickly. Okay. Yes, this was a great move from Genevieve, getting Keyshawn out. Genevieve is playing her own game, and I think that is something that a lot of people need to do. I mean, she, again, laid low in those first few episodes. People thought she was going to be purpled. She comes out here. She hears her name from Keyshawn, who, I mean, this was potentially a very simple plan to get out Rome. The minute that Genevieve hears her name, she jumps on that, and she flips the play. Rome has the hardware to back it up with her, and I thought it was just great play from them. Again, Rome is rubbing a lot of people in the wrong way at this moment. He was rude to Saul. I'm not going to lie, he was very rude to Saul. I am liking Rome this season. A little bit of a hot take. I'm liking Rome. He plays hard. He's a little villainous. I think villains are very entertaining. He's out here playing hard. Do I think he is the best player to ever play the game? No. Do I think he's even playing all that well? No. But he is very entertaining, very villainous. He's a little mean. Depending on who you ask, he's a little mean. He did apologize to Saul, which I think is very key. And Saul, all the props to Saul. He deals with Rome very well. Saul knows he's at the bottom. He knows he's not in a good situation. He hears this plan come to him very last minute, and he does what a lot of people would not do. He plays with his head instead of his emotions. He really could have taken out Rome there. He really could have. But Rome is an easy target come merge. Everyone is going to hear that he plays hard. They probably have already heard on the other tribes that he does this. Plays hard, plays idle, plays steal a vote. Everything like this. He's rude. Like, come merge, he's going to piss some people off. But Saul knows this. He knows Keyshawn is a player that is a threat down the line. And Saul plays with his head rather than his heart. All props to Saul. I mean, I guess they didn't even need his vote, but it just shows that Saul is a very, very good Survivor player. I think, again, he's also in an unfortunate situation. Teeny this episode lost their vote. Very unfortunate for them. But I thought Rome and Genevieve, specifically Genevieve, played this extremely well. Keyshawn, very blindsided. And I think it was a good move. You can't let a player like Keyshawn, like kind of that Omer Jesse type, get far, because they will slide into the background. They will mastermind everything. I think up to that point, Keyshawn was playing well. I really do. I guess at this point, he got confident. Let's be honest. He got confident. He let words kind of just fly out of his mouth. He dropped Genevieve's name, which I don't like. In that situation, he really doesn't have to say the name. He really doesn't have to say Genevieve. I think this is a mistake a lot of Survivor players do. And this is something, a way I would play, I would hear a name like that come up. If I'm Saul, and Rome too. Like, I think Rome played this very well. If Rome hears Genevieve's name is out there as even the fake plan, whatever. But you go to Genevieve. You tell her that. Now she has all the motivation in the world to get out Keyshawn. It doesn't matter if she was the backup vote. her name is out there. What did we learn from season from season 39? Rob, Boston Rob, I remember this very well. Someone, I don't even remember who, was on the visit to the Island of the Idols, and Rob tells them, you never put your name up on the chopping block. It doesn't matter. Even if it's as the decoy vote, you never put your name out there. And I think Genevieve hears that her name is out there and decides now is the time to make a move. I love this from her. I think at this point she does need to lay a little bit low, just so people don't suspect that she is too hard of a player. She can keep using Rome as a shield, and come merge, I think she's in a pretty good spot. I could see her maybe overplaying, maybe flipping, maybe saying the wrong things, but up to this point, I think she's in a very good spot. Some more thoughts about the episode. We saw a little bit more from Rachel. My thoughts from this were that Rachel, I don't know, she's playing all right. I think she's one of those players that come merge, she will be in a difficult situation. She's not very tight with that Gata tribe, I don't think. So I think come merge, she has the opportunity to flip-flop around. I think maybe she can be used as like sacrifice from Gata to be voted out, maybe early merge. Or, who knows, she could take hold of the reins, slide through the background, but I really, from an edit standpoint, I don't see her winning at this moment. Another thought was that another reason this season has been so entertaining, other than good gameplay, other than some villains and drama, I love that all the tribes have gone to tribal council. The disaster tribe not being there and making every week predictable is very entertaining to me. I've just really enjoyed this season. Let me see if I have any more thoughts. Oh yeah, Teeny. Teeny is a very interesting player. I think they, up to this point, have a very good edit. I think things are going downhill for Teeny, but they're one of those players that has an extremely good social game. And their social game is so underrated. Not underrated. Everyone knows Teeny is a good player up to this point. Teeny will definitely jump on any alliance they can find at the merge. And I see Teeny maybe being the final boss, but Teeny is one of those people that if they get to the final three, even if they don't make huge moves throughout the merge and like post-merge, they will be able to plead their case very well. Teeny, I think, will make or like explain every move, like every little move as a huge move. Every, kind of like Kenzie, every social relationship was a move. And I don't know, I really am enjoying Teeny. I'm really enjoying Sam. I think Sam is in a good spot. I think he's keeping Andy in his pocket very well. I like that he hasn't told Andy about the idol. Okay, I think I should have said this in the earlier episode recaps, but I think Andy is growing on me, okay? I really was a hater at the beginning, but I'm starting to like, I didn't realize how socially aware he was going to be from now on. I think he's integrating back into the tribe a little well. He's still a little cringy. I think he's in a good alliance with Sam and Sierra. Sierra, I think, is in a very good spot. What else? Oh yeah, we saw the twist. I already know what the twist is because I've seen episode 5. But at this point, I thought that it was going to be maybe swapping to 2 tribes for the rest, and then maybe do a vote or 2 and then merge. I know that's wrong. That's definitely what I thought before. But episode 5 was a super fun episode. Can't wait to talk about that. Please, if this reaches any sort of audience and you've made it this far into the video, please comment down your thoughts about season 47. Maybe anything I missed, any other comments. I will be back in a few days for the episode 5 little short recap. Thank you so much. Nicktalksurvivor out.